Chat, we go. We have Atow versus Diaz in a nice 1v1 show match. Now that Atow is in North America for the upcoming World Championships. So he's going to play against Diaz as he somehow kept the last pixel from that one going in. Last time these guys played, because they have played before, both of them had different ping. I think Diaz used to be able to get about 90 or so back when he played against Atow. Atow played from Belgium and attempted to get a win against Diaz on USC servers. That has proven to be pretty much impossible. For anyone who is trying to beat Diaz, you need as good of a connection as possible. Nobody on US East could even beat him in the most recent tournament, so let alone someone playing on away servers where they're not used to it. It can be tough. So all this is to say that last time it was a 3-0 for Diaz, but now Atow is going to have better ping. He is going to have 44 ping, and you'll see that Diaz has 168, and that is a product of him getting absolutely scammed. But he is going to steal this away from Atow all the same. We're going to watch this again from Diaz's perspective. He went to ceiling height, and Atow had so much separation on that ball. Yeah, Diaz is just down to play, which is, it's so funny because we talk about Diaz and his dominance from Brazil in North America, which is something that a few other players have done before. KV1, I think, was probably the biggest one at first, as Atow will double in his first goal. And KV1 did it on like 145 ping. 145, if you got on like a good server, I think you could get down to like 130s, and that was crazy. At the time, everyone was like, that's insane. Diaz has actually been doing his, dominating of North America on better ping. He was doing it on like 90 to 100 at times, which is really not that bad. It's kind of like the MENA player's connection to EU, except now apparently the best server we can get him is 160 ping, which is just absurd. 168. We were trying to get him a central server. That was giving us 190. So here is my pitch. Here is my pitch to Psyonix or Epic or Rocket League Esports. You guys have once upon a time given a few people the ability to have in-game admin. I think that's very easy to give people, by the way. I think you just have to like set their account up to be registered as an admin. And that allows us to pause games. It allows us to reset timers and stuff. It leads to a much better product whenever there are issues here in these show matches. In fact, it helped us set up this game because after these guys agreed that the server was good, we got to use that admin to end the game and start it over again so that we could start the show match clean. Might I potentially ask for slight more control? Because I know that admins for Rocket League Esports can pick servers, based on whether one team wants to be all... That's a great shot by Diaz, by the way. Whether they want to be like in Ohio or in certain states, like RLCS teams pick which ones they prefer, and then they can set up the server to be in that region. That would be incredibly helpful if they could give that to maybe, I don't know, a guy who likes to stream 1v1 show matches between some of the pros of the game. Because if I could pick a certain region, we maybe wouldn't have to roll 1,000 times in an attempt to give Diaz, the best possible connection for matches like this. But I know that that's probably, a lot to ask. Atow gonna jump around the corner and hook shot the ball in for a goal. Wait, what do you guys need help with? Oh, you want to close predictions? Oh, it's all right. They're tied 3-3. People, I think, overreact when the predictions stay open, if you ask me, because the odds just kind of change. They change live. Sure, you might get scammed slightly because someone starts winning and the points go the other way, but it's also hedging your bet. If you're on the losing side of it. So I think it kind of goes both ways. That being said, I did close them. Sorry, I had to go on my rant about how I know there exists the ability to pick a more specific server, and it would be great if we could do so. Atow, a nice air dribble starting out of his own half. Diaz deciding to go up to him while he's around ceiling height, and he gets that reset in order to put it back wall. That is one of Atow's favorite attacks in 1v1. Loves to use the back wall in for doubles. Not something that you necessarily see a ton as players do their best to not ever risk a big clear, which can happen when you put the ball on the back wall if there's a defender there, or on the off chance that you miss, which isn't really even worth considering when it's Atow. He's not missing any of his backboard doubles. He's getting some kind of touch on them every time. There's a chance Diaz on 160 ping saved that on his screen. So we gotta remember to give him a bit of grace here on the server he's been forced to play on. Or not forced, I would have completely understood if he's like, hey man, if we can't get at least a 140 ping server, maybe no match. But that is not what he said. He said he was down to play on 190, but luckily we got him at least slightly better. And Atow is maybe trying to make me look silly, because I just said a moment ago that you do not need to worry about Atow ever missing a backboard double. That even though it's risky for the average person, Atow is normally superhuman, but he went for a very sharp angle to try and get it in, and actually did end up completely whiffing his double, which leads to a Diaz goal and a kickoff to tie the game. Diaz held at ban point. He was not held at ban points. I would completely understand. Atow zap dashing, taking the corner boost, and Diaz reading the fake challenge. Diaz still not in the best position. Boost grab, but that ball bounced so far out of the corner that Diaz is going to be able to easily escape. Atow does not want to bring it into his back right, where Diaz would have a lot more momentum, have boost, probably be able to intercept right away. Instead, he goes all the way to the goal line for a cut save, but Diaz still takes it away. And Diaz puts himself up 6-5. Diaz, once he's in the air, he can become a maniac. And you have to do your best to not let him get there, but that's the same thing for his opponent as well. Diaz, another kickoff win, which I just have to assume the ball is teleporting one way or the other and then showing the truth. But the good news is you can just rely a little bit on muscle memory, it would seem, with the way these high ping players actually have pretty good kickoffs most of the time. Fake kickoff now for Diaz. He wants to ice out game number one. Back corner dribble. And he's just going to instantly use one reset, get a second, go for a bump. Atow gets around it, but an awkward landing on the post means maybe no counterattack. But yeah, actually still is able to get there. So 10 seconds left to go. And Atow has a good chance at maybe forcing overtime. Will we see any mix-up from him on the kickoff? We've actually seen kickoffs go Diaz's way the past couple times. It will be a delay. And now a boost advantage for Diaz, 23 for Atow. So he kind of needs his one move to get a beat. And I would say that that one move did not work. Diaz did not fall for it. So now he's in really big trouble. Diaz attacking the whole field. Could probably just bring this ball to the ground, but no, of course he's going to score it. At any point, he could just fake this, fall to the ground, and there's probably a chance, or no chance really, for Atow to intercept it and keep it up. But instead, Diaz says, you know where it's also safe is when it's in my opponent's net. And he will slot it top shelf to go up 1-0. Yeah, that was insane from Atow's POV. It's nice to watch. Hey, his ping is getting... No, it's getting worse. 172 is worse. We had it down at 160. But yeah, it's nice to watch defender POV sometimes to get an idea of just how crazy the attacking goal is. Everyone was, of course... Well, I shouldn't say everyone. Everyone in my universe, which is the 1v1 fans, we're of course hoping we could get complexity to as many lands as possible in order to see Diaz playing on low ping against some of these top players. But unfortunately, no worlds for complexity. So Diaz is going to have to continue to play from Brazil, but he's going to make it look like it doesn't matter as he gets a nice low reset play near the side wall in order to get Atow to miss. And he converts for the first goal of game number 2. How does Diaz do in 3v3? So that's what I was just talking about. He got picked up by Raise Bull and CRR to play on complexity. And the results in their first splits were not like how, you know, some people might expect picking up a crazy prodigy in ones in the past has gone. But, ooh, nice. I mean, again, it's Atow going for these high doubles. And it's to play keep away. But I think South America is in a pretty tough spot with Furia and Complexity. Heading back to play in South America with only 2 spots at majors. I think that region is a little bit too good for only 2 spots, assuming everyone's going to stay there. Maybe that's a really spicy take, but obviously it's hard to pick where the spots need to come from as Diaz goes to the ground. But South America probably could get away with having a 3rd team. Mina 2 hasn't really been able to do what everyone hoped for out of Mina 2. I certainly was hopeful. But, you know, is this the most disappointing Mina 2 result? I mean, I guess it has to be, which is the fact that for Worlds, there won't even be a Mina 2. Back to only Mina 1. And I think Mina's probably at least slightly to blame for all that, but I also slightly blame the fact that the World Championships was a full season away from when the games were played. Like, I don't know, if it wasn't many, many months between the last regional and the World Championships next week, I have a feeling we might have still been able to get the teams that qualified to the event. But hey, we get Oxygen. And I think that that will lead to an exciting timeline as well. Atow, air dribble reset, seeing Diaz wait on the goal line. He will not shoot. He'll let it bounce off the ground and get an air roll shot to put it on the left post. No player in Europe or Mina is beating Diaz or Daniel in a 1v1. Diaz has looked good against just about everybody. No one has looked completely unbeatable in ones. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that. You know, we've seen Drally win the most recent tournament that I ran. Diaz won a recent tournament in North America, but I don't think Diaz has been completely undefeated since then. It is possible to lose games, and we don't know how good Ruas or Daniel would be in ones, as it's been a very long time since we've seen them in any meaningful fashion. We assume they're still good. They're definitely still good at 3s, but you just never know. Diaz, pretty crazy save, but not enough to clear the ball as well. Diaz, air dribble, gonna try and muscle a 50 and it'll work. You could tell that the distance from the goal was such that there was no way you can really get a reset and make any sort of outplay or even carry over the top. You kind of just have to try and muscle it in and prepare to recover in case it doesn't work out. But in this case, Diaz does get it in. Atow wants the kickoff goal, and it is wide. High bounce. Diaz not in the best spot ever, but a pretty high arcing clear considering he was playing off a pad. Diaz wants to punish though, and he will. Oh, sorry, I should say Atow wants to punish, and he will. Diaz stuck in the play after his huge clear. Probably a little bit longer than he should have. He could maybe go back, get 100 boosts, and not just continue to play on 0. Kickoff goal for Diaz. It is 7-6. Guys, we're not at halfway. We are not at halfway. This is 7-6. We could be on the track for a 14-12 game, assuming it keeps going this way. Atow, what a smooth catch. His flick is just barely off target, and he can't get around it, so it's not going to be a goal. Diaz comes out alive after a great bit of control from Atow was just slightly off. Double reset, make it a triple for Diaz, but without much purpose. He'll reset to the back left corner. Atow going up the sidewall like he was maybe going to challenge Diaz high, but now he'll head back to the back line. A rare mistaken dribble from Diaz, I would say. Not often on those back wall dribbles does he finish with a lackluster finish, something that is very easily savable and short of the net. And that is what he got that time. As Atow slows the game down a little bit, searching for a 7th goal. Diaz pre-flips to make the save in the bottom left corner and is now chaining dashes together to stay on the ball. Atow to the ceiling for a reset and uses it to just slow his descent. Diaz will save again in the bottom left corner. Says you're going to have to do more than that if you want to get past me. And now back the other way and air dribble to the top shelf. What a save from Atow. It's actually a great bit of defense in a game that had almost none so far. And a demo should be a tying goal for Atow. He'll do it in style as he launches the flick to make it 7-7. Diaz, big kickoff win. It's actually directly in. This is pretty rare in these high-level 1v1 lobbies that you just see a straight wall and in. I think Atow maybe slowed down and was going for wave dash kickoff and got really side on the ball. Did not attempt to get around it in any way, whereas Diaz did go for the classic standard scrub killer gold side kickoff. And now he's going to read Atow's half flip, take it to his back corner. Not that it's going to lead to the best of possessions. As Atow undercuts, gets his own back corner boost, and will take the ball up into the air, leaning back for a reset. Fell too far away from the ball, and it's going to allow Diaz a pretty comfortable takeaway. Atow might be running out of opportunities despite a really high-scoring game earlier. I think this possession maybe needs to be scored, and it is. The double jump as he reads Diaz's challenge. And certainly playing these touches, where he's on ball and slowing the game down and probably making the ball warp around a little bit more for someone with high ping could work out better. But I also don't expect Atow to use his potential ping advantage. I'm sure he's just trying to play a straight-up 1v1 game. And what am I talking about? Why did I think the scoring was slowing down? Another kickoff goal as Atow cannot clear this out. And now 32 seconds on the clock with a 1-goal lead for Diaz. Will we see another delay from Atow? I had a feeling we would. He is known for his delays, and there may be no better time than when you desperately need a possession. Late in this game, number 2. Diaz not going to get demoed, avoids it, and Atow used a good bit of boost to try and chase that one down. Now he's slightly out of position. A good half-flip recovery, and now a long shot will maybe tie the game. Atow, this is not the way he wanted to play it. He got forced into this after the bump, but it looks like Diaz might have thrown himself off as well, and that's why he's not able to cut off the angle after the bump attempts. 9-9 with 10 seconds left to go. This would be a big win for Atow, who actually hasn't taken a game off Diaz yet. Like I mentioned, last time they played, it was a 3-0 for Diaz under slightly different circumstances. Atow will take it to overtime. Something tells me this game's not lasting more than 10 seconds in overtime from what we've seen. It's going to be a wave dash kickoff for Atow as he kills the ball onto the sidewall while picking up boost into the air for a reset far away from the net. He wants to go for a ground double, but he doesn't have enough to get back to it. Diaz low on boost. Going to attempt to clear. Atow going to do his best to stick around, but not get caught out on a long shot like that. He has forced Diaz to give the ball away, and it's just going to be a single jump shot, which will work. Great play from Atow in the late moments of this game. Diaz on low boost. A fake challenge in. Doesn't have to be anything too crazy, but it's enough to get Diaz to release the ball. And a few different times, Diaz has stuck deep in Atow's half, unable to recover. It's going to be a tied series, 1-1. Game number 3. Atow and Diaz. Wave dash kickoff for Atow almost results in disaster, but does end up recovering in time. Now Diaz in a new Fennec, heading from the back wall, trying to go the distance, but again he falls a little bit short, which is something that even the best Rocket League pros do a bunch. It's a psycho attempt from Diaz across the whole length of the field. Atow is chasing back, but he will not be there in time. Diaz is going to start the scoring here in game number 3 in the best possible fashion. A full field psycho from his own back wall. It's a nice setup, and it's worth a goal to open this game. Atow thought he could get close to Diaz. Did not realize Diaz has the mechs. Diaz now gonna flick to add another one on top. 2-0 start for Diaz. 180 ping psycho, that's true. It is 168 ping psycho, to be fair. But as much as you guys bring up the ping on a shot like that, when you're in control of the ball and no one else is touching it, and you get to get a setup like that one, that's when ping is the least relevant. Now, I don't have to play on 170 very often, so I'm sure there's a good chance the ball is a little warping, even when it's just you and the ball interacting. But as I understand it, you know, your game is trying to predict what's going on in the server and like your client side. And so I think it does the best job at predicting that when the only interactions with the ball are on your side. So I think it might not have been as crazy. Nice fake from Atow, but it's not going to work. Diaz able to recover from jumping on that fake to stay in front of the ball. And now Atow on the air dribble. Did he ever... did I miss it? Did I switch to his perspective late? He got a reset off of Diaz? Wait, what was that? What was that? Did he get a reset off of Diaz? I didn't think he had a flip. Wait, how did he know he had a flip? I just saved that. I don't know what happened there. Maybe I'm just dumb. But I think he got a reset off of the top of Diaz's car. Diaz is going to get another goal on the kickoff. But how did Atow know? Did he get bumped off? We're going to have to go see. I mean, just watching live, I'm not as good as Atow at the game. I would have never thought he had a reset. And the fact Atow, he set up his shot like that would not have worked without it. So he must have known. He must have just gotten bumped or something. We'll have to go see. I didn't catch it on my one rewatch. Atow hook shots for a second goal. Diaz sidewall. This is looking like a previous game with as many goals as possible. Diaz into the back corner. Now we'll pop high, ceiling resets. Can't get back to it. So, I mean, that is just such a rarity for those of us who have watched Diaz a bunch. You know, obviously we've seen some insane mechanics today, and yet every time he doesn't succeed on an air dribble and he has to kind of leave the ball, I'm surprised every time. But what he is doing well, which not every aerial attacker does, and it's an essential part of being a good 1v1 player in the air, is recognizing when you don't have it anymore. Recognizing when your shot that was maybe once good, part of your setup, has become bad, and just leaving it and giving up on it and not going all in. There's tons of players who, you know, they've decided what they wanted to do originally. They don't set it up as well as they could have, and then they just try and commit to it no matter what. And that results in getting scored on. Diaz not doing that, and he's also just throwing in so many kickoff goals. As far as you can tell, he landed on Diaz while boosting, and as Diaz kept on driving, Atow never jumped. So he got basically thrown off of Diaz, but he got the reset from Diaz. That's the thing. That is what surprises me. I would never feel confident about whether I got my reset back if I only landed on the opponent's car. Nice pullback off of the air dribble from Atow. Not only is he getting the resets to potentially win a 50, he's getting his wheels on the ball in case Diaz does touch the ball. Likely to keep it glued to himself, as well as just operating as a fake. Now Diaz calling Atow's bluff here as Diaz launches this one on target and says, you know, I've noticed you try and get these close saves, so I'm just going to go all the way to the net and low 50 you. I don't think Atow has to make the save the way he did. I think he's been intentionally trying to kind of cut them out midfield. Could have sent it into the corner where that wouldn't be possible. But Diaz recognizing a chance to get some more goals. (5-7) with 2 minutes left to go. Atow has a hook shot for, I think, I thought an unsavable position, but Diaz found his way back. No boost for him, though. As Atow, look at him making sure to grab that one more pad to try and starve Diaz out even more, because he knows he's about to reset on the 100, and he's already max speed. He doesn't need one more pad in order to make a play, but he just wants to make sure that every little boost on the map is not available to Diaz. Little bump going to result in him bringing it within 1 with 1:38 left to go. I mean, I think if Atow can stop these, is he just going wave dash on diagonal? Yeah, these wave dash diagonals have not been going great for him. I don't know if that's what all of the, direct kickoff goals have been, but it seems like a healthy chunk of them. As Atow will take this one away, and Diaz will be the one to set him up at ceiling height, something that does make it awkward for the attacker. What a flick from Atow, a bit too high. Recovery. Atow is doing this a ton. He's trying not to let Diaz get ahead of the play, and instead of tapping the ball towards where Diaz is expecting it, he's looking to try and instead cut around, take a new path. He did it right there at the midfield in order to try and catch Diaz out. It's led to this possession, but that possession is going to end here as Diaz will be able to reset on 100. Atow, only the slightest of fake challenges, as Diaz will pop into the air and go for a 50 to make it 9-6. Diaz, so pure when he gets his opportunities, and most importantly, he's very good at setting up his opportunities and earning them. But this will not be one of them, as he will lose this kickoff. Atow had the power slide cut to get Diaz to miss. I actually think he didn't need to flick, and if he had not flicked, maybe could have even scored. Nice pogo shot from Atow. You love to see it. And the Feer fans eat it up, because why wouldn't they? Atow is one of our big pogoers, and it's a great read with Diaz close to the ball. If he can keep it from ever really going down to car heights, then he can get it over the top and in for a goal. Another diagonal kickoff. Diaz wins this one heavy yet again. This time over the top of Atow and into the corner. And now Atow going to take a trip out to the midfield. Wants a bump or demo if Diaz plays too slow. And if Diaz plays quickly, he'll just take the ball away. And now he's evading a demo the other way. Diaz with a save. How does he do it? Now in and out of his net. He's going to send Atow back to the corner. And Atow just drops a what a save. I think he knows this game's over, because there's no way he's getting back for 2. Diaz, some incredible saves on very little to no boost. And he's going to have one to ice out game number 3. Take the 2-1 lead. No boost, high ping. Make it make sense. Yeah. Truly, you forget. For example, I think I've talked about this before, but you forget about the MENA guys who are always playing on EU servers at around 100 ping. And even that, it feels like it's reasonable. And then you go to Gamers 8, or you go to Esports World Cup if you ever get the chance, and you play on EU servers from MENA, and you're like, oh no, this is not easy. They're just making it look like it doesn't matter at all. And Diaz definitely doing that. Oops, wrong button press. Insanely high-scoring games. That being said, as well as Diaz has been playing, Atow has one big sore spot, if you ask me. And the biggest is the diagonal kickoffs, but just kickoffs in general. If Atow can even make more midfield play, I think this is a really close game. Maybe, if not even favored to Atow. I don't remember Atow scoring multiple kickoff goals a game, and Diaz definitely has in his 2 wins. Atow is fortunate that Diaz bumped him. He was going to have an even worse landing, but Diaz kind of corrected it and then couldn't get the angle. Atow a little bit too late to try and power slide cut from that position, and Diaz lost the ball. Should be an Atow shot on net and an Atow lead. Yeah, a whole minute 30 without a goal. And I think that Atow can win and is maybe even favored, which is crazy to say, but I just think that's how many goals Diaz has gotten off kickoff in this series. If he can just keep them neutral, he doesn't even necessarily need to win first possession, just not get scored on within 4 seconds and give himself a chance to play a little bit longer. Diaz looked good. Diaz should be able to tie up here, though, as Atow was swinging back and forth across the net in an attempt to find a chance to score, and maybe got a little bit too complacent. Diaz on a pad or so a boost will pinch it out of the corner and tie up the game. Diaz electing to use a couple chain dashes over boost as he gets to the ball. Atow evading the demo as he picks up the midfield, and he's going to go for a double jump bump. Diaz is going to make the save. Diaz defense in this series has been otherworldly. And it looks like even the classic air dribble bump, which does such a good job of getting those pesky defenders on the goal line out of the way, it's not going to work. Diaz makes the save and quickly converts it in for a goal of his own, as Atow has to continue to search what is it that actually gets past this guy. Diaz keeping that ball cam on as the start of the dribble, which is of note because his opponent's the guy most famous for things like that. A 2-1 game. Every goal meaning a lot more here. Atow doing a decent job of dealing with the bumps and not getting completely out of position, but unfortunately for him, it's still a Diaz dribble. This time it's going to be a musty low, and Atow seemed to recognize that Diaz wasn't going to get any great shot out of that and just went directly at the ball. Sure, Diaz powered it up a little bit, but the angle was one that was predictable for Atow. That Diaz goal line save. Can Atow convert? He's done this a few times where he baits Diaz into taking a long shot on low boost and then taking it the length of the field to counter him. But this will not be one of those times. This is going to be a time in which Diaz shows the kind of power he can get with just 6 boost. And it's a booming power shot over, I think it's 106 km/h. In order to beat Atow, who is really just almost baiting that play. I mean, he's rotating back with a boost advantage, just waiting for the moment that Diaz gives up the ball. But it looks like he gives up the ball directly into the net. Now Atow, another air dribble bump. This one not going to work. I think, did he save it? It had blue trail coming off of the crossbar. Diaz might have bumped him back into it, though. Now Atow is shooting on an open net and is going to make himself within 1. So Atow has indeed stopped the kickoff game. Unfortunately, he finds himself in a very similar position, down by a goal late in the game. And those are the kind of positions that you actually wish you could go and rely on the kickoff game, where it could give you something quick. Diaz, big separation on that one reset, allows Atow clarity in his challenge. He's on the back wall, trying to know when to go. And as soon as you see that much separation, all of the options of what Diaz can do get limited down to a very set few. And Atow can feel good about challenging those. He's going to delay this kickoff and not get a touch. Trying to wait on the goal line. Oh, a ballsy catch to cut it into his back corner, but it's going to work out. And now a first touch on this air dribble is one that can really only be pogoed because it was so far ahead of him. Atow found a pretty decent shot considering the setup. I don't think he necessarily was wanting to set up a pogo, just knew that that's all he had left, and he's going to wave dash himself out to underneath the play as Diaz flicks right into the crossbar. Atow on 0 boost. Cannot get up to this ball. 26 seconds left to go. Diaz. Can he finish out a 3-1 this time against Atow? This is a great position for Atow. He's going to go for the demo. He hasn't been able to connect on them yet so far, and this will not be any different, as now he has a big boost disadvantage after using all his up, and in fact the midfield isn't even there to spawn for him. Wave dash challenge. Oh, Diaz might have overdone it. Long shot from Atow. He just needs to get to the ball. Diaz is just going to bump him and get in his way. Prevent him from being able to finish it off. And it'll be a GG's. Diaz going to get the win 3-1 in the rematch against Atow on USC servers. We got to go look at this reset from Atow. All right, Atow POV, 25%. Jump. I think he gets the reset off of Diaz's car. He jumps to the sidewall, and this is where he gets his reset. This is where he gets his reset. Here's where he single jumps, and then he doesn't fully land on the wall. Maybe one wheel. I think he just gets his reset right here. And Diaz helps launch him up. And then if you guys weren't here earlier, when you watch this play live from Atow POV, you're certain that he's just doing this without a reset. Because he gets launched up and you're like, oh, okay, he's just going to go take a dribble. But it turns out he had a flip the whole way. Oh, man, yeah, I think his back wheels just were on Diaz and that was enough. And then he got popped up without jumping. Let's see it from Diaz's perspective. Like, is he thinking there could ever be a flip here? Or is he thinking what we thought, which is chances are there is no flip? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The way Diaz sets up a net, it doesn't seem like he's really expecting one either. All right, you guys want to see the Psycho? Nasty. Nasty. I think that technically the freestylers of the world would not call this a Psycho because he set it up on the ground. He's hook shot it to the back wall and then launched it the length of the field. I think the purists of the freestyling world would say a Psycho has to happen in the air, like the setup has to happen in the air. But that's insane. Can I 1v1? Oh, yeah, for sure. Vatira Diaz, let's run it.